Hey, muy buenas noches, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Bueno, mi gente, as always, muchísimas gracias to everyone for your guys' words, prayers, and your amazing support. Again, I'm always lost at words, but do know that I really appreciate it from the Corcoran. Gracias. Now, to get into the story on him, ahead of time, do let me apologize, right? I don't want to be jumping forward and back on you guys, which, but the live we just had together, there was a lot of homies that were being mentioned, and the question came up a couple times, which is, why do we treat paisanos to a certain respect as raza, right? When we're getting mistreated in Mexico, in the pintas, or when we tend to juggle around with the certain factions, right? So I'm going to try to put it into perspective and at the same time continue with my story, right? To make sense of it. Do remember the homie's names I mentioned in the story because once in Mexico they were a big part, of a lot of the movie we were doing down here. But anyways, again, we're in Aztec in Salinas Valley, right? And like I stated in the last recording, three Pilis had big presence there. One of them being the old man from Venice, right? And this was them shady times where the paisanos and ourselves weren't seeing eye to eye in a lot of spots. Mainly the reason behind it was that, a lot of paisanos don't like our program, right? They want to do everything, but again, it all changed with a couple Pilis that were paisanos that came into fold, right? But in this occasion, again, we're in the hole, right? But this time, we had already seen classification. The dude that made that call actually made it out to yard, and we took care of business with him. And so we split up, right? Me and the homie that had the oil, right? We split up from the two group yards, and I started supporting the camarada there. And after a little while, there was a couple issues, but it was mostly, again, it was on with the Judas, right? But then one night, this paisano came to the hole with three camaradas, and it was the camaradas that had booked them, right? They had stabbed him. Which, in this one, I want to refrain from mentioning the camaradas' names, right? But it was three of them, one from Van Nuys and two from Santa Monica. And, once they got back there was a lot of investigating, right? For example, the paisano, he presented his paperwork and it was circled around dope, right? And mainly that the paisano, he had weight on the streets, right? And he put something in the llavero's hand, and the feria never came back, right? So, you know, again, I was supporting the camarada from Florencia, the back there, so I started doing my research because the paisano, they called him Changa, right? He was supposed to be from Sinaloa, so I had the contact in the sense to run the background on them, right? And we started also contacting the Pilis, and it was one of them times that everything checked out with the paisano, right? He was part of that organization. He belonged to a family, right? At this time, it was all juntos, right? It was Beltranes, Sinaloa, or Chapos more than anything, right? I'm not gonna say Sinaloa, so it was all love. So everything came back cool. So now we started writing down my Pilis and sending them up, to the Pilis. And the one that, you know, responded back to us was, old man from Venice. And in this moment, right, it was real odd because there was no hesitation, right? From ever since, usually when it's something like that, when we weren't as tight as things are now, there were certain avenues or circles to go through, different beliefs and different avenues, right? I'll just leave it like that. And this one was real clear, right? Them three battles, they're done. There's no comeback. There's no hands on. There's nothing. I want them done. And I heard down the line, they ended up getting a pass. Is what I refer from mentioning the names, right? But at the moment, the homie D put some homies, some camaradas on them, and you know, went to town on the camaradas, and they were on the shine, and at all times they were pleading their case, right? When it came to what had happened on the yard, and it was all the Llaveros doing. And this was still the Llavero system, and just because they're camaradas, power corrupts, right? Power plays with minds, especially if no matter who you are, you start being at the gato and you start seeing the benefits of having the yard on the point where everybody that hits is going to be giving you something, right? But he was in debt, and he shot up to the bay that the third he had shot up there was his Holly, which it wasn't true, right? He had asked the paisano to front it for him, but he didn't want to pay him, so he had the three camaradas. They were young, so to go ahead and remove the paisano off the yard, and he never thought it was going to ricochet back, right? But nevertheless, it did. Within time, him and his mesa got removed, and everything came to light. The paisano, he moved weight. I mean, I literally weight, right? It was nothing. So that's what the old man from Venice, yeah, that's all he was looking at, right? Nevertheless, camaradas or anything, as I stated in my message in my past videos, dope trumps, homies, camaradas. You know, all this going on, I seen everybody probably thinking I was stupid, and I was, because I seen past all this, and I just thought it was part of, right? And at this time, I'm still a lifer, so, the option was the causa, right? And what is the causa really? When you're there, we talk about raza, sureño, ek, but at the end of the day, the causa's them. They're dope. They're feria. And that's what RUBE, he was worried about. Now, those that know later down, there's a reason why they all got put on the shine, right? When they started messing with the familia, because they were doing a lot of bad calls to maintain those avenues, those prices, in the cost of even themselves, right? But as you guys know, it all got clear, right? So even though they got put under supervision or inspection, nothing got done because, at the end of the day, they ain't gonna get rid of something that brings feria to the mesa, right? But anyways, the reason why I speak about this paisano, because at the end of the day, yeah, camaradas moved on them with no reason behind a dope fiend that had a little bit of jugo, right? And the Pili, instead of, guiding the reaction to the correct people, he washed up three camaradas that they were doing what they thought was correct, right? As the one said, the homie from Ben Eyes, he said, I seen the Mapil, where they were okaying for us to go ahead. I heard that down the line things got cleared up, right? But meanwhile they got booked, and while the other fool, he got removed and he locked it up, right? But while it's pears and oranges, the homies were on the shine. And it was all behind that. The old man from Venice, all he cared about is shutting that door when it came to bringing in dope, feria. He never once hesitated to ruin three camaradas' careers behind that. That was more important than any camarada. And whoever, whichever camarada that's out there, come and tell me, you know, come and at least hesitate their revenue or their wiggle in when it comes to dope and tell me you're going to push through, you know, because I seen it time and time again. But anyways, this is, before they brought the llavero and his mesa back, right? They had, gave me my shoot term again and they had shot me back to Corcoran. This was actually the last little movement that I was in Salinas again. I was there, I got there in time of chaos and it was real quick, right? Which I'm pretty sure the vatos and the COs, excuse me, in Salinas, they were glad to get me bounced out when on my C file I had that those lies into SUB against Judas and. So anyways, I went back to Corcoran and when I went back I went to Fort Left is when a camarada followed me there and he's the one that informed me that that old man and T they eventually removed the whole mesa, right? And they all locked it up, cause basically the llavero he worked it to have a whole bunch of gente that were just like him. That they thought they could use and abuse gente too. That's the thing. When they're on their appealing at this time, they were all slammed back, so they tended to trust camaradas, but at the end of the game, dolphins are dolphin. Don't matter what race you are, don't matter what you are, right? That ain't gonna change nothing, but you're gonna take advantage of what's bringing it to you. Which I will continue on once I hit Corcoran, right? But I do want to fast forward a little bit, right? As you guys know my story, when we hit Nayarit, there was that big split, right? Which was between the Familia Sinaloa and the Beltran Leivas, which in reality it should have been just Chapos and Leivas, right? But, all the families got involved. That would include myself and the Pilis did you know, what Sinaloa wanted them to do. Why? Because they wanted access to that, right? If you guys, if you guys will see, literally, you guys will see how low they got. It was not gonna say embarrassing, but it was shameful. Like you have no idea, right? But again, they were piloteando, so they were the ones getting things done their way, right? But in Sinaloa, for those that have been with me and heard, Pinky, and in my life, someone mentioned a good camarada, which was Sticks Angel from Southside Whittier, right? We were doing them trips, which was go to the P, stash ourselves, and then come out and boogie, right? And till those watchers came in, the military, and then punch back, settle down, and then boom, hit again. Well, in one of those trips, I asked, at first it was los puntos, right? Las tienditas. Get there, stash yourself, find out where they have their little tienditas at, and hit them, hit them, you know? And, after a while, it was like, started giving us targets, For example, El H2, and, there was also, they said the changa, right? When they said the changa, it stuck to me, right? Because, again, from back in the days, right? So I started, curiously. And sure enough, La Changa, he belonged to Sinaloa, but when the split happened, the Changa decided to align himself with the Beltranes because he had been in Nayarit helping them align the government, right? Which was a big piece why the Beltranes beat Sinaloa for for Nayarit, right? Because they were paying mostly everything, and you know, it's a trip that people say, you know, how we are to the sense what we have to do when we're in the States, which is cool, you know. We're gente, we're raza, there shouldn't be them divines, right? But it don't work both ways. We got the boot in every aspect when they found out we were from Cali, even, you know, I'm born, but there was a lot of camaradas that were over here, like in this case, you know, my boy Pinky and Angel Sticks. Yeah, but in one of those trips, you know, the homies lost their life. For that one person that asked me, you know, they were actually in a puente on the Oscars. There were two that they literally got skinned alive and they got set there by a gas station. You know, we just got ambushed, you know. Again, the Changa was a big part in why the Beltranes didn't like us. Because he was aware how Sinaloa moved, he was aware how we moved in Cali, and he brainwashed the Beltranes to the point where they couldn't stand us. When we hit any place that they were there, man, I'm not gonna say torture because that's child's play. But you know, within time, La Changa, he got he got his issues not by us, you know, because in reality, at this time they were strong in Nayarit. You know, again, they were the faction of Sinaloa that went into states and they paid governments, and so they had those friendships, right? So we couldn't touch them, but you know how Mexico is. It's a bunch of people betraying, and eventually the government they got him, right? Because they wanted his own underboss, which was El H2. He's the one that set up everything for the government to take him out. But you know, here's a dude that back in the States got protected, got three homies removed, came to Mexico, and even though that happened, he still had a lot of hate for camaradas to the point where they couldn't stand us. And it wasn't just us, you know, because there was Pilis wiggling with us. And, you know, it was fair game. You're from California, a darles. So, you know, it goes back to what they had asked me, you know, why. You know, it has to do with them prices, them dope. Again, you know, mi gente just come to the realization that when I say Tecato ways, I mean Tecato's ways. There's nothing else that has that value. So, you know, for those that haven't taken that step to go and try to please these people, you know, just be smart and do something for yourself, you know, get out the ghetto, you know, get out of the gutter, you know. There's no need to throw yourself in something worse, which that's what prison is. But I will continue on with my story once I get to Mexico again. Remember the homies Pinky and Sticks from Southside. And I just want to touch on this paisano that at one point, you know, Pilis, carnales, they put him on a pedestal because what he could bring to them, money and dope wise, over camaradas, right? And how he was a big part when it came to hunt camaradas down in Mexico, right? We didn't even have to be doing nothing. Just he knew you coming from the States or you were plastico, you had to bounce. He became that individual, right? But again, you know, I'm not against for raza, always helping raza, but I am for, you know, a hand has to always scratch the next hand, right? And there's individuals like this that they have all that movement in Mexico that we mistreat them in California, right? That we pick at them. That's why they're like so with most of the homies in Mexico. You know, Sinaloa is different. Jalisco is different. They have a lot of homies, that are under their belt. And, but as you guys will hear when I get there, I just thought I would share this, that this individual in the States had three camaradas dealt with, right? Per se, because if you really, the mesero and the llavero, excuse me, and this mesa, they had it coming, right? He was doing shady stuff, he should have answered. But the homie should have had the benefit of the doubt to do a proper investigation, not just have one big tecato jump the gun and be like, remove him. They're gonna close my avenue. For it to turn around and bite the causa per se in the butt, right? When they're trying to open up lines down here. But I thought I would just share this with you and at the same time close my stay in Salinas Valley so I can move forward with you guys. Again, thank you everyone for the live, for your great support. You know, to those again, be smart, life is so beautiful, God fills it with blessings like you have no idea, or you do have an idea, you just, I do understand the wiggle in that aspect takes your vision from the good stuff happening around. I mean, I was there. I was that Margaro individual that only seen God in the bad things that were happening. But life ain't about that. And someone asked me to put out how I came to terms with God or peace with God, right? Which I wanted to put it out if everyone think it would be something good to put out, or would I be out of place, right? Again, everybody shows me love and respect, and that's exactly what I'll be returning, right? As you guys probably tell by now. With this said, please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. My love, buenas noches.